the most important thing that I learned is, how to play the game of golf the right way. You think you know as a junior golfer, but the courses that we play growing up are different than we do here, than we do on the Korn Ferry PGA Tour. Really got to be disciplined. You got to aim sometimes for the center of the green, even though you want to aim at the pin. You got to understand the value of being on the fairway and the importance of short game. Like you would say, that's your insurance policy. If you don't have a good short game, you won't make money. That's just how it is, right?
No money.
Welcome to the Living in the Zone podcast. I'm your host, ZoneCoach Jim Fannin. I've coached champions in life, business, and sports for 50 years with a proprietary thought management system that I discovered called S.C.O.R.E. Every guest on this show has been in what we call a zone state, a purposeful, calm feeling where nothing can go wrong, and you're performing at your highest level. On today's episode, we welcome Adrien Dumont de Chassart. Adrien grew up in Belgium, played for the men's golf team at the University of Illinois, is now currently competing on the PGA Tour. During his time as an Illini, he was named First Team All-American and Big Ten Player of the Year in 2022. And Adrien was also the Korn Ferry Rookie of the Year. Adrien recently represented Belgium in the 24 Summer Olympics. Get ready to dive into the mind of a young PGA Tour star right here on Living in the Zone. Adrien, welcome to Living in the Zone. I was so excited about having you in today. Busy tour, back from the Olympics, and I really want to take a deep dive in how you got here and all the transitions that you've had. If you don't mind, I like to go all the way back. Obviously, you're from Belgium. When's the first time you picked up a golf club?
Yeah, it's been a journey. I picked up a golf club when I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. My dad, brother, even my grandma have played golf growing up, so it's always been in the family. And living about a mile away from a golf course just, made sense for me to just pick up a club and start hitting balls.
When's the first time that you got into a little zone state where it's like, oh, wow, I'm launching them, I'm doing well? In terms of a junior golf tournament, when was your first junior golf tournament? What age?
I don't really remember. Funny story, I used to play a lot of tennis growing up, so I started playing tennis tournaments before I did with golf. And one of my first tournaments, I remember being on the first tee. Didn't have a driver because my dad didn't believe in drivers. And I had tennis shoes on. I didn't have golf shoes. People were kind of, other juniors looking at me, was like, why don't you have golf shoes? I don't know. I just owned that pair of tennis shoes, and I just like playing with them. And yeah, I don't recall which tournament it was when I was in the zone, but I think when you're a kid, you're in the zone a lot. You don't think about anything. You just play the game because you love it. And I feel you're probably in the zone state most of the round, really.
I think right now, even on the PGA Tour, you need to be a kid again.
Exactly.
Yeah. From birth to 5, you learn more in that time than the rest of your life because you're in a zone state, that present tense state. So how did you make a transition from junior golf to the University of Illinois? That's a big jump, moving away from home. Was that the first time you were away from home almost on a permanent basis?
Yeah. Luckily, I got used to travel a lot in Europe as a junior golfer, playing with the Belgium team. So I got used to, be away from my parents, and even though it would only be for a week or so. But I've always dreamt about, going to school in America, play golf, and just to be able to do that,
Who are your idols? Who did you look up to as a junior?
The Belgian guys, Nicolas Colsaert, Thomas Peters, Thomas de Trie. All those guys were about, I guess, D3 and Peters 8 to 10 years older than I am, and I've always wanted to do what they did as a junior, as a college player, and as a professional golfer.
Did you have a relationship with Dietrich?
I did. I didn't know him well. I got to play 9 holes with him when I was 14 years old. My parents know his parents, and they kind of made the arrangement to just play a few holes and talk about, college, because I think he was probably sophomore, junior at the University of Illinois back then. And,
I was working with him at that time.
Yeah, probably.
I was,
yeah.
Yes.
And, he just talked to me about the program, Coach Moll, and how, he loved it and how it made him make a better golfer. And I've always wanted to go there since then. I didn't really look at any other schools.
Did you have offers from other places around
I had some offers, but, I always, found a way to just kind of decline them and tell them that I was
You were a fighting Illini right off the bat from Belgium.
I was just, waiting for Coach Moll's call. That's just what it was. I remember the guy that was helping me with the process of, finding a school was like, you kind of want to be polite when you, decline an offer. And he was like, yeah, just say you're looking for some different weather, Not saying if you're looking for colder, warmer, whatever it is. And, going to Illinois, some people may think that it's too cold to play golf. But back home in Belgium, it also gets pretty cold in the winter.
Right.
And I've always enjoyed having some sort of a break from, November till January. Focus on school a little bit and enjoy life a little more than if I had to play 365 days a year.
So when did you get the call? Mike Small, University of Illinois, legendary coach. Do you remember the first call you talked to Coach?
When he made the offer was probably when I was about 17 years old. But I met him for the first time at the Orange Bowl when I was 15, and I think that was a big tournament for me because that was the first time he saw me play. And I finished second that week, so I think he saw a lot of potential in me, and after that he probably kept following my result, and I know with all the NCAA rules and stuff, he couldn't, make an offer till I was a certain age, and once he was able to, I gladly accepted it.
Do you remember the first time you physically was on campus and met him? Do you remember that day?
So I remember playing the Orange Bowl when I was, I think, 16 or 17. And then we went to campus December 31st.
Wow, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
What a transition day.
It was cold.
Yeah, very cold.
There was no one, so it was pretty, quiet out there. But I fell in love with the campus and the facilities and, everything that it had. We don't have anything like that back in Belgium.
Well, I think today there's nothing like that in the world.
Yeah.
It may be the greatest indoor golf facility in the world.
Exactly. And if you can love the campus when you go on December 31st, I mean, you like it any time.
You're going to like it anytime.
So.
And so when you came in as a freshman, what kind of expectations did you have?
First of all, I wanted to have fun. And I wanted to be in the lineup,
Sure.
Win tournaments, help the team do well, because that's something that you don't get to do much in golf. It's an individual sport. I did play some, team events growing up representing Belgium, and I've always loved it. So just being part of a team again in college and trying to win championship is something that always motivated me to get better. And yeah, just getting there as a freshman, you just want to do good and you want to impress people, right? Because they don't know who you are. They don't know what you can do. And that's something that you need to learn as you get older in the team, because people start having more expectations. So you don't want to let your teammates down, your coach down. And that's something that I had to learn. And I thought I did a really good job overall. So I was really happy with that. But yeah, just as a freshman, you always want to do good and you don't have many expectations. You just want to prove people wrong. And I had 2 wins. It wasn't one of my best years. I wasn't really consistent, but I'm still very proud of those 2 wins I had as a freshman.
But what'd you major in?
Business management.
Yeah. Did you care about that?
I did. Growing up, my parents always valued academics. And I got lucky enough to get into business school. And, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur at some point in my life. So doing studies that could help me do that one day was really special.
Who'd you room with your freshman year? Did you have a roommate?
Yeah, Tommy Cool. 5 years.
Tommy Cool.
5 years. So,
oh, my goodness. Oh, you roomed with Tommy 5 years.
Yeah. That was awesome. awesome teammate.
You know, I'm working with Tommy now.
Yep, I do.
Yeah,
I do know.
yeah. Tommy's great.
Awesome person, awesome family. Got to spend a lot of time with them during COVID, because back then we didn't know if we could go back to Europe and then come back. So Jerry G, myself.
Jerry J, fellow Belgian.
Netherlands, Dutch.
Oh, yeah, okay, Dutch.
But yeah, we spent 3 months from March till June at Tommy's house during COVID. So that was pretty awesome.
So the first time, you know, at Illinois, everything's geared up for really 3 things: win the conference, get through regionals, win the nationals. Next year, win the conference, get through regionals, get to nationals. Getting ready the freshman year for the Big Ten championship. Now, Illinois had already won it the year before. Am I correct?
3 times before it.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah. Well, I've lost count. 11 out of 12 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we won it. Where was the Big Ten championship in your freshman year? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was at Philly Cricket Club. Awesome course, probably one of the best courses I've ever played. And you know, being a freshman, I didn't play that many awesome courses before that. And it was just a special experience, you know. I mean, you know, you get a shot and win because you don't want to end the streak, right? And you know, it means a lot to you to do.
A lot of pressure. You just said something. You said almost we don't want to end the streak instead of let's continue the streak.
But when you play, obviously, you're not thinking about it, right?
You're not
you
thinking,
know, you gotta do your
but
job.
everybody knows that going there.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to extend the streak. We can't end it. So there is pressure.
Yeah.
Not only on the competition on the team, which is probably some of the best competition in the world, but also competing in the Big Ten.
But that's what makes you lock in the moment, right? Because you know you gotta bring your A game, and even if you don't, you know you're gonna have to grind and make pars and try to shoot the best score you can that day to help the team. And I mean, the first round, I think I was off to a decent start. Probably shot 2-3 over, not great, but I had a really good round. The second round, it was blowing about 40 miles per hour. The greens and the ball was barely holding on the greens.
That's Illinois weather right there.
Yeah, and it was just a tough day, and we fought really hard, and I think had about a 4-shot lead on Purdue going to the last round, so not too many really to be comfortable, and we were just off to a really good start. I remember playing as the 4th guy on that day, so second, nearly last off. I think Varun was behind me and Gio was ahead of me, and Gio was off to a great start, rolling birdies in. I was as well, and it wasn't not an easy course. I mean, we were all over pars, and I ended up shooting, I think, 4 under, tied first place. Gio shot a couple under as well, and we're just rolling and ended up winning by a couple of shots.
By a couple of shots. Big Ten champion you were.
Yeah, Big Ten champion. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And you're off and running. Do you remember a tournament, specifically a round, that you were deep in that purposeful, calm, present tense, total zoned out, where you may not even remember everything? But do you have a memory of your first collegiate really locked in? Birdies are coming, opportunities are coming, very consistent.
I mean, probably that week when I shot the last round and second round in the wind. I did not hit the ball well that week, but I just found a way to get it done. And I couldn't remember many shots I hit that day because maybe I was just locked in, you know, and played in the moment. But yeah, I've had a couple of rounds like that where I went low in college, and you got to be in the zone to go low, right?
So if I walk down the score system, self-discipline, concentration, optimism, relaxation, enjoyment, when you made that transition from Belgium junior golf to Illinois, which one of those markers, did you need more optimism, confidence? What do you think you needed? You didn't know SCORE, obviously, at that time, but in hindsight, looking back, making that transition, what was the biggest thing you needed?
I mean, probably some self-discipline. Not saying that I wasn't disciplined enough, but, you know, when you get to college, you got to wake up at 5:15, go work out 3-4 times a week. That's something that I didn't do growing up, right?
Right.
I mean,
most of us don't do that.
I thought waking up at 6:45 was early, right? Till I get to college. So just little things like that, just putting the work in, obviously trying to be efficient because you don't want to be out there too much practicing on the wrong things. but enjoyment was there, that's for sure. Since the first day I stepped at the facility, you're just so happy to be there. You want to practice all day, do games against your teammates. So I didn't really need enjoyment. Maybe some relaxation, just the first few tournaments, right? Because
Stress.
I mean, now that I think about it, my first college event was at Olympia Fields and did not have a great tournament. Probably was really nervous.
First college, well, that's one of the toughest courses, in the world. It can be really tricked out, and the wind's blowing. It's formidable.
And the rough gets thick, the greens are firm. It was a really good test, and it made me realize that college golf is hard. The courses that we're going to play are not easy, and you really got to listen to Coach Mull because he's going to help you navigate through them.
What did you learn most from Coach? I know you learned a lot. Mm-hmm. Could you boil it down? You spent 5 years there.
Yep.
And you still have a great relationship. You'll be seeing Coach soon, tomorrow possibly. And so can you summarize what little nuggets you've learned that you've carried forward in your life?
Mm-hmm. The most important thing that I learned is, how to play the game of golf the right way. You think as a junior golfer, but the courses that we play growing up are different than we do here, that we do on the Corn Ferry PGA Tour. And, really got to be disciplined. You got to aim sometimes for the center of the green, even though you want to aim at the pin. You got to understand the value of being on the fairway and the importance of short game. Like you would say, that's your insurance policy. If you don't have a good short game, you won't make money. That's just how it is, right?
No money.
And just to be able to compete with him, because he's still an awesome player, right? And just getting your ass kicked by him sometimes, it can hurt, but you get to realize.
You know what's amazing about Mike? You can get your ass kicked by him, and he doesn't practice.
He does.
He
might say he doesn't, but
he slips it in. He's sneaky. He tells me he didn't practice, so he does sneak in a little bit.
Sometimes I'm sure he does, but
he still wants to compete with the boys and show you guys what being a baller really is.
But it's just awesome to have a coach that tells you to do something, but then he does it in his own game.
He can back it up.
He always valued the importance of short game, and you go play with him, he might hit 6 greens and shot 1 under.
Right.
And that's when you realize, okay, what he says really matters and means something, and you just want to do the same thing, right?
Now, I've said this to every client I've ever had. You're more than a golfer. Don't put all your happy eggs in one basket. There is a social life at Illinois, and it's a big one if you want to go that route. Did you get into the social side of Illinois? Did you get into the Illinois sports? Did you go to the football games, the basketball games? When did you really get, I'm an Illini, I'm going to support everything and the social aspect? How was that part of your life?
It was awesome. I think, people tell you college goes by quick. You don't really listen to it while you're in it.
Right, exactly.
It did go by quick, even though I did 5 years. I loved my experience. I wouldn't want to do it any other way. But yeah, just being in line, it's something that you keep for your whole life, right? Just going back to football games, basketball games, other events is something really special. And I wish I enjoyed it maybe a little more in college because, you'll still focus on golf. You have really good facilities. You spend so much time out there, and then you have schoolwork on the side, and you just want to be better and better every day, right? So you just focus so much on what you want to do that sometimes you might forget the social aspect of life a little bit on campus. Not saying that, we didn't enjoy celebrating a win or something, but sometimes you're just so focused on what you want to do that you might forget a little bit.
Now, did you please Mom and Dad by getting your degree?
Yes, I did. But I pleased myself.
Of course.
I
first.
did it for them, but I did it for myself as well.
That's exciting. But you left with a lot of knowledge about how to play the game. You left with a degree. You left with a girlfriend. Is that true?
That is true, yeah.
Tell me about that.
No, I met Katie, my girlfriend, about 3 years ago. It was right after COVID. I knew her brother pretty well, and, he always liked me, I guess, and he was like, yeah, why don't you send a text to my sister and see if you guys...
Holy cow, the brother hooked you up with...
I know, he did.
That doesn't happen. That's not normal.
Yeah.
He must have seen something special in you.
I know, he must have. And, we went on a date, and I'd like to talk about that date, but she probably doesn't want me to.
Well, then we won't do that.
It was, nothing bad happened, but... It was funny, and yeah, since then we've been together, and I've had an awesome time with her, and she's always been by my side, and it's been awesome to have someone who just supports me 24/7.
Now, because her father is the coach of the basketball team, did you start paying more attention to basketball games at that point?
No, luckily, I've always loved basketball.
Yeah.
It's something that I thought was really entertaining.
Is basketball a big deal in Belgium?
Not really. I mean, bigger than football because we don't have football.
Sure.
But just being a freshman, I didn't really understand the rules of football, so I didn't really like it at first. I really started enjoying it my senior and fifth year in college. But basketball, I always thought it was really fun to watch. It doesn't last 4.5 hours. It's shorter, sweeter, more intense. So I really enjoyed it.
It's fun watching other athletes be in the zone.
Exactly.
And then you go to the Olympics. Holy cow, representing your entire country. When that came out, how did you feel? When you found out, I'm going to represent Belgium in the Olympics. How did that come about?
I didn't really know how to feel because it's something that I've never done before, right? It's such a cool experience. And, I just, wanted to focus on the tournaments that I had before that. And, once I got there and I step up on that first tee, that first round, that was something really special. To see all those Belgian flags, all those Belgian fans out there just screaming my name. I'm not used to hearing my name 10 times a hole, not even around.
Wow.
Because we're only 3 hours away from Paris. It was something, real special to be able to just represent something bigger than myself. And
did you get to be in the closing ceremonies, or did you leave? Did you miss that?
I had a tournament before and right after, so didn't get to enjoy the full experience. But just, it was something really special, and I'm really glad I was able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that when you're competing, you're not like, oh my goodness, every move I make is for Belgium. I mean, you're representing everybody in your country. That can be pretty daunting. So how did you play?
I didn't perform as well as I wanted to. I felt like I put on a show at some times, which was fun for the Belgian crowd. Hit a lot of really good shots, made some good putts. Just didn't find some consistency with the driving, and out there with those narrow fairways and the rough being pretty thick, I just didn't give myself enough birdie chances. But I felt like overall I did a good job, and I'm proud of myself, especially the way I hit that first tee shot every day on the first hole. Not an easy tee shot, water on the left, rough on the right. Just pipe that 5-wood down the middle every day. So that's something that I'm very proud of.
That's exciting. Now I want to go a little bit back. We got to the Olympics, but when you left Illinois, you knew, I'm going to the PGA Tour. I'm a professional golfer, and you declared yourself as a professional. You were in a special group of people that went out on the Korn Ferry Tour, a group of college students. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that transition from college, okay, now it's about money, mm-hmm. and it's better competition everywhere. Tell me about that transition onto the Korn Ferry Tour, the minor league tour for all the non-golfers that get you on the PGA Tour. Tell me about that whole process.
I mean, first of all, if it wasn't for PGA Tour University, the programs that helped seniors in college to go from the college level to the Korn Ferry PGA Tour events based on how they perform their last year in college was something that really helped me, get on the Korn Ferry and then now on the PGA Tour. Just being able to finish in the top 5 got me my card on the Korn Ferry for the remaining part of the year, which was about 10 starts. Made it a little easier, just knowing that I can go out there, that I'm going to have a certain amount of starts to just prove myself. Made it a little easier on myself.
You came out of the chute, though, like just locked in. You won the first, didn't you win the first event?
I did. Yeah. I wouldn't say I showed up, feeling like I was going to win the tournament. I didn't really know what was the level out there. I didn't really know what to expect. But sometimes that's a good thing. Yeah. I mean, and I did have some worries maybe going into the tournament, first professional event. How am I going to do, And I think to be able to have played nationals 2 weeks before and just still being so fresh mentally and physically to be able to go out and play a professional event really helped me.
Well,
win the
you
tournament.
were close to peaking at the Nationals, and I think maybe you peaked just after the Nationals,
Yeah.
and that winning right off the bat. And then the second week, nobody wins back-to-back on the Corn Ferry, and seldom does anybody win back-to-back, and hardly no one, maybe Scotty Scheffler only, back-to-back-to-back. But the second week, now after you won, here come the bright lights. Here come the interviews. Here come, oh my gosh, what was that like when you got that kind of accolades, winning the first one? Everybody in Illinois is blowing up your phone, right?
I mean, it was fun. I was enjoying the moment. I was really proud of myself, and you have to celebrate those wins. And one thing that sticked with me after my win was talking with Michael Fiegels. He was out there. He actually shot 59 that week. I won the first round.
He did. Yeah, that was amazing.
I don't know if I pushed him to shoot 59 because he didn't want to get his ass kicked. But he was like, "Yeah, every shot counts on the Corn Ferry. If you can birdie 2 the last 3 holes, that might help you finish third instead of T16th, And I think that might have helped me, closing out my round on Sunday. And then once I had my win, I celebrated with him, Katie, some of my friends. And it was like, I mean, it's great that you just won, right? But you want to stay focused for the next coming up. Next, exactly.
Next.
And that might have helped me have a really good second tournament as well.
I think you could have won the second tournament. You're in the hunt on the second tournament.
Yeah, I lost in a playoff.
Right.
So a little disappointed because I had a 4-shot lead going to the last round. But, putts didn't fail, and it doesn't always go your way. But
I think a lot of people don't understand the zone and thinking less. You would think thinking less would help you conserve energy. But thinking less, really, you have to have your guards up to protect outside things from stealing your energy. But when you're in a zone state, there's so much energy expended. You could be mentally exhausting. So I think maybe in this second round, the second tournament, back-to-back, did you feel any fatigue after the second tournament?
I was, because I was supposed to play the next one. And I just got done, and I called my agent, and I was like, I can't do it.
I'm fried.
I need
fried.
to take a week off with the big season we had with Illinois. I just didn't see myself play 3 or 4 in a row. And I thought that I was off to a good start. Just let's go rest for a little bit, practice, and then come back hot for the next 7-8 events that I played.
One of the things that stood out for me about you was leadership. Coach Small and I have been with him way over 10 years, and we're always looking for that leader on the team because, as I've told Coach, you're only as good as what your team thinks when you're not there. You're not there in the locker room. You're not there in some of the places where you all go out to dinner. He's not there. You really stood up as a leader. Tommy did as well, and you put together a special, and you and I talked about it, but you had a special weekly meeting with your team. No coaches. I wasn't there. And tell us about that, because that doesn't happen for most teams. But you took the leadership role in doing this. Every week with your team, you all started visualizing something that was going to happen. I think it was the Big Ten championship. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that meeting. How did that happen? How did the players respond to that? And did everybody participate in that?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, to be a leader in a team when you're used to not being the leader, when you're one of those young guys.
Well, especially in golf, it's not a team sport.
It's not a team sport, and I've always been introverted, so it's not something that I found easy to do. And I think it was really nice to have Tommy, since we kind of complement each other in a way that I always wanted to lead by example, doing the right things, and hopefully people is going to see what you have to do if you really want to be successful. And I think that's how I really helped the team. But then to go back to those weekly meetings that we had, it was, I think, on a Monday or Tuesday night. The whole team would meet in someone's apartment, and we would just visualize Big Ten championship and nationals. And we would just
As a group,
we would just go on YouTube, put the course that we're going to play that year, and just visualize every hole. It was easy at first, like anything you want to do, and then you really got to be disciplined to keep doing it every week. I'm sure we've skipped maybe a couple, but overall we did a really good job just sticking to it.
So as a group, you would say hole number 1, par 4, dogleg left,
Yeah.
and then everybody would play the first hole?
I think the first time we just went through it, talk about game plan, see, what tee shot we hit. So, because some guys never play the course, right? So
Now, this is 3 or 4 months
before
yeah, the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really getting ready before the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt that very many teams in any sport does this.
Mm-hmm.
This was exciting for me. That was one of my ideas I wanted you to do.
Yeah.
And wow, you took it, and it was a really big deal for your team. I think it bonded your team.
No, exactly. And, I mean, it's not easy when there's some guys on the team that have never played the course before, right? Harder to visualize. We did get to play it probably 2 months before Nationals. And, sometimes, you do it, you visualize, but you don't know if it's going to pay off, right? And then maybe even after Nationals, when we, I think, finished second in stroke play, you might not think that actually helped because, you're in the present. But over time, the more you do it, it's just going to give you an edge. And I think the 5 guys that ended up playing that week, we might not have had our best game that week, but we're still in the lead after 3 rounds, and it's a very demanding course, not easy. Different type of weather that we usually playing in the Big Ten, 95 degrees, 100 degrees. It's not something that we're used to.
That's not in Illinois weather.
But we did really well, so it was exciting.
The other thing that was a hallmark for your career, and we talked about quite a bit, was closing. We give no shot back after 12 holes. The last 6 holes, we're giving nothing back, executing the basics. When you heard that concept and then embraced that concept, how did that help you?
I think, it helps a lot, obviously, because as a team, if everyone can save 1 or 2 shots on the last 6 holes, that makes up a big difference. But it's more so leading into the next round. If you finish with 2 birdies and shoot 2 under, it's different than finishing with a double and shooting 2 under. That kind of gives you good momentum for the next day. And if 3, 4, 5 guys can do that, week in, week out, I mean, you're just the mindset you getting into the next round is just, massive. It makes a big difference.
Which team event did the entire team get into the zone? Does one stand out where, oh my goodness, we were locked in?
There's one. It was a smaller event, the one in Missouri. I think we shot about 67 under, maybe lower than that as a team.
Wait a minute, how much?
67.
67 under.
Yeah, and it's a 3-round tournament. It's not even 4 rounds.
Oh my
right?
goodness.
And it was funny because we played the practice round, and usually practice round we play a 5 or 6 some, and the course didn't seem easy. All the greens were kind of had 3 tiers, right? And the pin was always in the middle, which actually made it harder because you didn't have much room to stop the ball. And we're playing, and we're like, how did Missouri shoot 35 under the year before and won? And they won by 20 or some shot. Never mind. Tournament started. We all locked in and shot 67 under. And I think Jackson shot 22 under. Won. I finished second. I think I had 18 under. And a bunch of other guys were also between 7 to 15 under. And I think we're all locked in that week.
You all must have been fired up when the trip back to Illinois after that event.
Some guys were pissed in the team because obviously smaller events, and you win by 40, 50, you kind of expected to win. And we're also competitive, right? I think Tommy and Matisse might have shot maybe 8 or 9 under, got their ass kicked by 13, from Jackson. So obviously you want to get back in, practice it, and then get better. That way that doesn't happen. But that's why I think Coach Moll has done such a good job. Everyone is so competitive that, you always want to beat each other. And that's how you build good teams.
So now you have your PGA card. Tell me about the first PGA tournament. First time you teed it up. Where were you? How'd you feel? How was your score level going out?
It was in Hawaii.
Wow. What a nice start. Beginning of the year. The Sony?
Yeah, the Sony.
Yeah?
That's right. It was an interesting start. I made a few changes heading into that tournament. I had to change my grip, which was a big deal.
Wait a minute. you do great on the Corn
Yeah.
Ferry. Everything's going well. Played well in Illinois. All this happened real quick, and now you're going to change your grip.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
That's a big change. It's some things that it's not easy because you might struggle for a couple months. But I thought that was the best change.
You ain't got a lot. 2 months of struggle on the PGA. That can dig a hole for you, can it?
Yeah, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do.
That's what's going to bring me to being the best golfer I can. Then I thought it was necessary to do. And I used to have a very unconventional grip my last 4 years before I switched. During COVID, I decided to switch my grip, so it wasn't my first grip change. And I realized that my left hand was way too strong, and I wanted to find a way to weaken my left hand. And during COVID, I found a way, and it was called a reverse overlap. So no one grips the club that way. It's basically a putting grip. Wasn't really pretty at first, but after a couple of months doing it, and it was COVID, so I didn't have any tournaments. It was a perfect time to make a change.
Perfect time.
And I started playing better and better, and I had the shape that I wanted to hit, and it started working really well, right? Hit the ball solid, had good success in college, right? Even on the Corn Ferry, but I was never really good ball striker. I was a good grinder, I'd shoot a 2-3 under when I shoot a 1-2 over. I mean, that's what I learned from Coach Mull, right? And leading into my last tournament on the Corn Ferry last year, Victoria National, I kind of hurt my wrist hitting 8-iron out of the rough on hole 10. Had a very weak grip, so I used to bow and hit in the right into the thick stuff. Kind of felt something in my wrist, not really good. So I went and see someone, and yeah, he couldn't really tell what it was because there's like a dark spot in your wrist where you don't really know what's going in there. She's like, yeah, you can take a couple weeks off, let it heal, and maybe it will get better. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I might want to find a way to keep playing and maybe find something that just kind of makes sense because I don't want to be hurt.
Sure.
Now and then, because of a low wrist injury, and realizing that putting that left hand a little stronger, back to not as strong as it was before, but to where it felt good, was the right way to change. And I decided to go to an overlap grip.
And you had that overlap grip in the Sony tournament.
I did. It was, I didn't have a great week that week because, I wasn't fully committed to it. You always kind of want to go back to the old grip because, you've had success with it. And that week I was like, okay, just stick with it. Might be hard. And I think what was the toughest part for me, those stretches of weeks, was that my shot patterns was way different than before. It's not that I hit the ball that bad, but just the misses that I had were different than before. And I kind of started losing my confidence because of that. And, I really had to find those new shot patterns that really matched my grip. And that would give me a lot of confidence. And now it feels really good. I'm striking the ball really nice. If I had to go back to my old grip, it would feel weird. So yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, it was blowing also 35 miles per hour. Why? Not something that you want to do in your first tournament when you just change your grip.
No, that's
and the ball's
tough.
going sideways. I mean, Tiger was the best example. Changed his swing about 3 times. That didn't change the outcome,
Well, I think the thing that doesn't change that helps you is you don't change your mindset in a negative way. If you can you must keep a positive mindset in any mechanical transition because it's not going to be perfect. It does take time.
And I think that's probably where I lost my edge a little bit. When you start losing confidence and you start doubting yourself, I think that's where I could have done a better job, but that's something that I'm learning from, and next time if I do need to make a swing change, I know
how to do it.
I know how to do it.
So if you could go back in time with the knowledge you have now, the experience you have now, the wisdom you have now about professional golf, what would you tell your younger junior Belgian golfer self? What would you tell him? Would you give him some, hey, listen, this is going to happen. I think you need to start doing that. What would you tell that guy, that young Adrien?
I mean, first of all, I'll tell him to stay who he is and love the game, because I think that's the most important. If you love the game and you're in the zone, doesn't matter the way you swing it, you'll find a way to hit it where you want to hit it. Obviously, you want to get better as a golfer. You want to work on some shots that you might not have in the bag, because you always want to improve, right? You don't want to stay where you're at. There's no fun in that. But yeah, just to understand when's the right time to work on something and when it's not. And really enjoy the process and know that golf is not an easy sport. There's going to be up and down. You're going to struggle at some times, and that's just what it is. And you're just going to have faith. You just got to have faith that no matter what happens, good things going to happen to you, and staying positive, If you keep that S.C.O.R.E mindset, you'll be able to overcome anything.
You're a lifelong learner. Is that a true statement?
Yeah. I think anyone who wants to strive to be good, got to be a long lifetime learner.
I know the best clients that have reached their pinnacle of success, whatever it is, that they've been the best students of the game, the best students of their mind, and the best students of how to do what they do to be their genuine, authentic best self. I know you've continued to do that. Living in the zone is different than playing golf in the zone. Are you living in the zone in the other parts of your life now that you're on the tour, in front of the bright lights, traveling around the world?
I can definitely get better at it. But, like I said, we're learning, and that's why I have you, because you know how to live in the zone, and you're going to help me with that. But, yeah, it is something really important. If you really want to have a successful life, if you want to enjoy your life.
What do you do to enjoy your life outside of golf?
It changed a little bit the last few months. It used to be a lot of TV watching, but now I really got into reading books. My girlfriend loves to read books, so we both have a Kindle, and anytime I want to read something, either a self-help book or a fiction, I can just go make some research on my Kindle and just get the book.
I think that's an amazing transition, really, because what that does, it taps into your imagination. I mean, you can see a movie, but they're creating the imagination for you. It's right there in front of you. You just kind of hop a ride on the script of the movie or the TV show. But a book, I can read the same book you read, and I'll get something out of it maybe different than you will because of my imagination, and I'm putting myself in different situations and feeling a character differently.
Yeah, Katie and I have read the same book, and it's interesting to talk about it after, because I see one character that way, right? And she might see that same character a different way. So it's fun to talk about sometimes and, see how our imagination can be different.
Yeah, I think if we put social media down and start reading and getting our imagination, I think we'd be a better place. And speaking of social media, everybody makes a big deal, Pro Tour, I want to have 1 million followers and Instagram, and I want to have likes and all that. Are you a social media guy? What's the social media? The PGA encourages social media also.
No, they do.
Because it promotes the game.
It does. I think you got to find the right balance.
It's the good and the bad and the ugly of social media.
I've realized that it doesn't do me any good, really. It's more of a waste of time. And there's so many algorithms that kind of, make you want to stay on the app. And, that's why I got into reading more, because I delayed Instagram about maybe a month ago.
Hold up. You deleted it.
I still have my account. My girlfriend has my account on her phone in case I do have to post something, But, yeah, I just found myself scrolling too much. And with the algorithm, there's so many golf videos popping up, about, like, how to chip, how to putt, or how to do something. And I just found myself kind of wasting energy on the wrong things. And just putting that on the side, now every time I have free time and I don't know what to do, it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to read? Am I going to go stretch? Am I going to go play a board game? I'm just doing something that is more productive than just wasting time on my phone.
So what else do you do? Do you, if you go into a city, a PGA Tour, most pros are hotel, range, hotel course, range, airport, rinse and repeat, do it again. Do you go out and dine? Do you get out of the hotel? Do you go into a city that you've never been in? Do you go to a museum? Do you do anything, or are you into what most people in the first year is just range, hotel? Did you see the city? No, I didn't see the city.
No, it's different than last year. Last year was range, hotel, range, hotel on the Corn Ferry. But also some of the cities we're in, like Springfield, Missouri, there's not much to visit.
Not a lot of museums.
Not a lot
of art museums, right?
Yeah. So it's been a little different this year. I mean, we haven't visited as much as we probably should, but we've been doing Airbnbs, which I found way better than
The hotel.
just staying in a hotel, staying with other players, other girlfriends. So it's just way more fun for me and Katie. And we kind of get sick of eating out all the time, you know? So it's just nice to be able to cook at home and just eat a meal that we like.
Are you a cook?
I can cook. I enjoy cooking, but Katie does a really good job at it, so I kind of let her do it.
Smart man. Go, whoever's the best, let them do it.
So, yeah.
I'm banned from the kitchen in my house.
You are?
Oh, I thought I was a grill meister until I, met my wife and I realized I'm not that good. I defer every single time. Yeah, it's good. The road can be a grind. Are you a good roadmeister? Traveling?
Yeah.
Because, you got to be disciplined traveling. Things can go wrong. Your golf clubs, you miss a flight. You're too early. Where's my rental car? You pretty good at managing those little things?
Yeah, I think it's been, I mean, it hasn't been hard. On the PGA Tour, it's pretty easy, right? You just fly into a big airport, don't have many connecting flights. They give you a courtesy car, so you don't have to worry about getting a rental that might break down after a couple miles, right? So we're very fortunate on the PGA Tour. There's really nothing to complain about. They just put you in the best environment to play the best game you can.
So what do you see for your future? What's next for you?
Win a PGA Tour event. I think that's the goal, really. And I believe I can do it. I just got to be in the right mindset and just believe in myself.
Well, I've seen you for 6-7 years now. I've seen you grow from a freshman to an All-American, Big Ten champion, a lot of accolades in college, Korn Ferry, a lot of accolades. I have no doubts that whatever you put your mind to, I know you can do it. And you have the talent, you have the self-discipline, you have the concentration, you have the confidence, optimism. I know you're calm and cool when the money's on the table. I've seen you not flinch when the money's on the table during those moments of truth. And like you said, to tell your younger self, I know you love what you do and do what you love. I have no doubts that first victory will arrive. And I'm going to make a prediction. I think you're going to win the first event, and you won't have hit the ball well, as you might think you need to win. I think you have that kind of mentality. You always will hit the ball well, but sometimes to win a tournament, you think you need to be perfect, that I need to really, everything has to be done well. But you've been someone that knows that if you can hit a high standard, these other guys will lose to me.
Mm-hmm.
Most tournaments are lost by everybody, and one guy's left standing.
I think it's hard to win a tournament when you hit the ball perfect, because you have such high expectation on every shot that when you do not hit it good, you might actually get pissed at yourself and just start switching from being in the zone to being in the past. Whereas when you know you're not hitting it well, you just focus on the next shot. Well, if I miss the green, I'll make up and down. Well, I'll chip it in. And if you do end up hitting great shots, like, okay, great, now I have a 6-footer for birdie.
We have the 5-second rule. You're only as great as the 5 seconds after every shot, so you don't judge your shot. And our battle cry at Illinois is?
Next
Shot, next target, next hula hoop size target. Are you bringing that mentality right out onto the PGA Tour?
I need to bring it. I know it's there. You learn all the tools, but you got to use them and constantly remind yourself of them, because it's good to know them, but you need self-discipline to work on your mental game and keep getting good at it.
Well, at ZoneCoach, we're fired up about you. We're fired up about your future, your career. You're a bright young star in the PGA Tour. I think you probably need to start wearing sunglasses and oxygen, because I think you're going up. You're going up in that ranking. You're going to climb your own Mount Everest. And thanks for being here. You've been a delight to work with for the last 6 years, and I just see nothing but amazing and greatness for you in the
Jim.
future.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks for watching or listening to Living in the Zone podcast. Make sure that you subscribe so you can be up to date on all of our information and content. Go to ZoneCoach.com where you're going to learn more on how we can help you live your life, business, or sport in the zone.